Good morning, America. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance take the stage in their first rally together and Trump's first since the assassination attempt.
Last week, I took a bullet for democracy.
While President Biden is in isolation with COVID, the move for him to leave the race growing louder. What a new ABC News Ipsos poll says about Biden's support among voters.
Outage outrage, the growing frustration over the global internet crash. Governments and businesses still trying to get everything back online. Tens of thousands of air travelers in limbo. And questions this morning about the software update that led to the mess.
Pivotal negotiations. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu set to come to the U.S. to address Congress this week. The crucial talks about a ceasefire and the return of the hostages.
Karen Reed back in court. The Massachusetts woman accused of allegedly killing her boyfriend faces a judge after her first trial ended in a hung jury. Will she be tried again?
The breaking research on the potential impact on babies if mothers have COVID or are vaccinated in their first trimester, and the potential link between a healthy diet and a lower risk of autism. Dr. Darian Sutton breaks it down.
The WNBA All-Star Game thriller.
On fire.
Superstars clashing as the league's top players face Team USA, about to head to the Paris Olympics. The WNBA upsetting Team USA with a record-setting performance by sharpshooter Arike Ogunbowale.
Ogunbowale connects.
And the rookie connection of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese stepping up.
Clark to Reese, what you've been waiting for.
We have all the highlights.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
And good morning, America. It's great to have you with us on a Sunday. Glad to have Rhiannon Alley back with us this morning, our WNBA super fan. You saw the game, right?
What a thrilling game.
Right?
I will say it again. If you're not watching the WNBA, you are missing out.
So good.
So good.
Incredible. And we'll have much more on the exciting game, Team USA versus the WNBA All-Stars. That's coming up.
It was a little bit of a shocker.
Right?
Love that. And the triple-digit heat is baking the West Coast, which sends the wildfire threat soaring, while the South is getting soaked with flash flood risks stretching from New Mexico all the way to the Carolinas.
And more than 700 flight cancellations already this morning. The ripple effect from that massive computer outage growing. We're going to have much more on that in just a moment here.
But first, the presidential race, the nation getting its first look at the Republican team of Trump and Vance together on the campaign trail this weekend. Jay O'Brien joins us with more from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Jay, good morning.
Whit, good morning. Just days after those calls for unity in the wake of that assassination attempt, former President Trump spoke for just about 2 hours at a rally here in Michigan, and he returned to some of his old habits, making false claims about the 2020 election and taunting his political opponents. This morning, exactly a week after that assassination attempt and his calls for unity, former President Donald Trump changing course.
Crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country.
Repeating lies about the 2020 election and resuming pointed political attacks on his rivals, from President Biden to Vice President Harris.
Kamala, I call her Laughing Kamala. You ever watch her laugh? She's crazy.
His first rally since that attack in Butler, Pennsylvania, Trump campaigning for the first time with new running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. This event held indoors, unlike last Saturday.
Last week, I took a bullet for democracy.
Do you think it's changed him at all?
He's thankful, and he's thankful that he's alive.
Wow, they made that shirt fast, huh? Yeah. That iconic photo of a wounded Trump already on newly printed T-shirts here.
He's not afraid to fight for us, and we're not afraid to fight for him.
Meantime, President Biden promising this morning he'll return to the campaign trail after he recovers from COVID.
Hey! Ho, ho! Thank you, Joe. It's time to go.
Dozens of Democratic activists yesterday demonstrating outside the White House, calling for a new nominee, despite sources telling ABC News that multiple top party leaders have all told Biden he'll lose to Trump. The president's campaign stressing he's staying in the race.
I don't believe that we are unanimous in our support for the president. We are certainly unified in that support.
And while the president remains quarantined during this crucial campaign period, Democratic sources are pointing me to one key fact, which is that two of the top House Democrats to publicly call on Biden to step aside, Congressman Adam Schiff and Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren, are both top allies of one person, former Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Whit.
Jay O'Brien for us, thank you so much. And for more on the state of the race, we're joined by ABC News political director Rick Klein and Martha Raddatz, who will be hosting This Week later this morning. Good morning to both of you. Rick, let's start with you. We have this new ABC News Ipsos poll out this morning. How have the numbers moved since the assassination attempt on Trump?
Good morning, Whit. Yeah, this poll with Ipsos picking up a definite bounce for Donald Trump in the wake of his convention and the assassination attempt. His approval rating up to 40%. That's up sharply since a month ago. It's also the highest it's been in 4 years. It's still not great, but it's certainly significantly better than it was. And meanwhile, Joe Biden's approval rating about where it has been for a long time in the low 30s. In this poll also, Whit, people are more likely to think Donald Trump better suited than Joe Biden to unite the country going forward.
So, and what are Democratic voters, though, saying about whether they want Biden to stay in this race?
61% of voters overall and 60% of Democrats say they want him to step aside. That is a sharp rebuke from inside his party, some very negative sentiments about his prospects going forward. In fact, Republicans are more likely than Democrats to say that they want Joe Biden to remain in this race, I think reflecting their calculation that he'd be easier to beat than anyone else. As for potential replacement candidates, Kamala Harris viewed slightly more favorably than Joe Biden, but also just as unfavorably as Biden. So those numbers are upside down for her as well. And none of the other major Democrats are really known well enough nationally to say something meaningful. That tells you how hard it would be to replace someone on the ticket this late.
All right, Martha, let's go to you on this because Biden expected back on the campaign trail this week after he recovers from COVID. How high are the stakes for him now just weeks before the Democratic convention?
The stakes are huge, Whit, as you know, because all eyes will be on Joe Biden. Every move he makes, everything he says, and recovering from COVID, they say he still has a cough. This is going to be a rough week, and he really has to prove himself because time is running out. The convention is about 3 weeks away, whether Joe Biden will be the nominee or not, we don't know. With growing movement, more than 35 Democratic lawmakers saying it's time to go. He also this week has Benjamin Netanyahu in town. So he wants to show his foreign policy chops, but we'll see what happens.
And you were also at the Republican National Convention. You're interviewing House Speaker Mike Johnson later this morning. How does the addition of J.D. Vance to the Trump ticket change this race in any way?
Well, you certainly have someone younger. He's about half the age of former President Trump. And obviously, he's from Ohio. They want help in that Rust Belt. They think J.D. Vance can help deliver that. Whit?
Martha Raddatz and Rick Klein, thanks to you both. We appreciate it. And a reminder, tune into This Week later this morning. Martha speaks with House Speaker Mike Johnson about the state of the race less than 4 months from Election Day. Plus, Martha interviews Independent Senator Joe Manchin and Democratic Representative Ro Khanna about what's next for President Biden. Rhiannon?
Now to the Secret Service. Under scrutiny a week after the attempt on Donald Trump's life, the chief of that agency is due to testify tomorrow on Capitol Hill. Christian Cordero joins us now with the latest on that. Good morning, Christian.
Rhiannon, good morning. The House Oversight Committee is expected to grill Secret Service Director Kim Cheadle, who told our Pierre Thomas the buck stops with her when it comes to protecting the presidents. A preview of the hearing played out at the Republican National Convention last week when senators confronted Cheadle, some demanding her resignation. House Speaker Mike Johnson has echoed those calls. He's also announced a bipartisan House task force will investigate the shooting, one of several investigations playing out. Local police took these photos when they first noticed Thomas Crooks, and others show items found on the roof, including a black cell phone and a gray wireless transmitter authorities say he intended to use to remotely detonate explosives in his car. Officials are looking into whether the suspect used a drone to surveil the area beforehand. As for the timeline, we know snipers spotted him at least 3 times, including 6 minutes before he started shooting. And this morning, the Secret Service is responding to a Washington Post article accusing them of denying requests for more security at Trump events in the 2 years before the shooting. Gio, the Secret Service says that in some cases, when specific requests were not met, adjustments were made to, quote, accommodate security needs. Gio.
Lots of questions for the Secret Service director tomorrow. All right, thank you so much, Christiane. And now to the massive global computer crash. Businesses and governments still in recovery mode this morning. Air travelers are being hit especially hard with more than 700 cancellations already this morning. Morgan Norwood has been following it all weekend long. Good morning, Morgan.
Hey, good morning to you, Gio. We know that number is only set to grow, right? We're staring down day 3 of another round of chaos at airports. And as systems sluggishly return to normal, there are questions this morning about whether CrowdStrike skipped critical measures when rolling out that update. This morning, the ripple effects from that massive global IT meltdown dragging into a third day of travel chaos.
Very frustrating because we're kind of stranded here.
Passengers riled by mounting cancellations and delays. In LAX, long lines to ticket counters. And in Philly's airport, luggage piling up. Nationwide, more than 7,000 delays yesterday. More than 2,000 flights canceled.
We were supposed to fly out Friday night at 9:30. Then it got switched to 10:30, delayed. Then there was no pilot.
American Airlines announcing their operations are back to normal, but other airlines, including United and Delta, anticipating more disruptions throughout the day. The global outage stemmed from a faulty software update from cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike that Microsoft says crashed 8.5 million devices running on its Windows operating system. CrowdStrike emphasizing that this was not a cyber attack, but this morning, the company facing questions about whether more could have been done to catch the error in the update before it was pumped out to millions of systems worldwide.
This is something that should have been detected in testing before it had been deployed. We want to roll out these things a little slower so that if there is an issue, it would be caught before the impact was so widespread.
And meanwhile, Microsoft says it's deploying engineers, Rhiannon, to help get systems up and running.
All right. Hopefully they can figure out what happened, Morgan. Thank you. Flights were temporarily disrupted at Miami-Dade International Airport last night, not because of that disruption, but because a woman was allegedly stabbed in Terminal J. Local police say the man suspected in that attack was arrested at the scene. The victim was transported to a local hospital in critical condition. There is no word this morning on whether the victim and the suspect knew each other or of what any possible motive could be.
Now to the Middle East and Israel's attack on Houthi targets in Yemen, days before Prime Minister Netanyahu is set to visit Washington due to meet with President Biden on Tuesday. Britt Klein has more from Jerusalem. Britt, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. Yeah, Israel says it intercepted a missile fired from Yemen. The Iran-backed Houthis confirming the first attempted strike on Israel after the IDF bombed a port held by the rebel group.
Overnight, Israel launching powerful strikes in Yemen, targeting areas controlled by Iran-backed Houthi rebels. Clouds of smoke and fire blanketing the Houthi-controlled port city of Hodeidah. The Houthis saying at least 3 people were killed, 87 injured. Israel's airstrike is the first direct claimed attack inside Yemen since the start of the war last October. Israeli officials saying the airstrike is in response to the drone attack in Tel Aviv on Friday that killed 1 person. The IDF saying it struck military targets that were being used as a main supply route to transfer Iranian weapons from Iran to Yemen. These weapons sent by the regime have been used to attack Israel in recent months. The Israeli strike escalating tensions in the region, with the Houthis now also saying they won't hesitate to strike back. Following the attacks, Iran-backed Hezbollah said Israel's actions herald a dangerous new phase. This all comes as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu heads to Washington, D.C. tonight, his office confirming a meeting with President Joe Biden will take place at noon on Tuesday, amidst the growing pressure to call for a ceasefire agreement and hostage deal.
We're inside the 10-yard line and driving toward the goal line and getting an agreement that would produce a ceasefire, get the hostages home, and put us on a better track to trying to build lasting peace and stability.
Ceasefire talks will top the agenda when Biden meets Netanyahu on Tuesday. Now, the Israeli leader will be accompanied by released hostage Noah Argamani in the U.S. As he faces intense pressure to reach a deal and get those remaining hostages home. Rhiannon?
All right, Britt Klein live in Jerusalem. Thank you for that. Now to anti-government protests and a shoot-on-sight order in the South Asian nation of Bangladesh. Ines De La Cuetara is following this story and is here to break it all down for us. Good morning, Ines.
Good morning, Rhiannon. And perhaps bowing to public pressure, overnight Bangladesh's Supreme Court scaling back most of the controversial quotas that have sparked so much anger and deadly protests.
A week of chaos in Bangladesh. Government buildings set ablaze. A mob storming the state broadcaster, burned out cars lining the streets as thousands of student protesters clash with police. Over 110 people killed, including this woman's nephew, 16-year-old Imam Hossein. My nephew was an innocent kid, she says. Why did they kill him in such a brutal way? The demonstrations ignited over a new quota system that planned to allocate up to 30% of government jobs to the families of veterans who fought for independence against Pakistan in 1971. But overnight, the country's top court scrapping most of those quotas, hoping to quell the violence. Bangladesh's army deployed in the country's capital to enforce a strict curfew, and the government imposing a nationwide internet blackout. The U.S. State Department, meanwhile, issuing a travel advisory, telling Americans not to travel to Bangladesh due to ongoing civil unrest. The U.S. Embassy in Dhaka saying in a statement reports indicate hundreds to possibly thousands injured, adding the situation is extremely volatile.
And that curfew has been extended by another day. It'll be relaxed in the afternoon for people to run essential errands, but otherwise people are being told to stay home with only emergency services allowed to operate. Gio?
All right, Ines, thank you so much for that report from London. And happening right now, crews are working to clear a train derailment near Big Lake, Minnesota. Authorities say 15 cars were impacted. They say the derailed cars were allegedly carrying consumer goods and don't pose any risk to the public. No one was injured. But of course, we remember what happened in East Palestine, Ohio. So a lot of people are always very concerned about those train derailments. Very important.